Today we are receiving an exceptional ocean innovator. She is a founder of Madagascar Whale Shark Project. In 2011, she joined the WWF Youth Volunteer Internship Program to work in Madagascar on awareness of conservation biology. After her master's, she decided to go back to Madagascar to create a project to protect whale shark populations while supporting the local economy. She is also the recipient of the Vocatio Prize for Young Belgium Entrepreneurs. Everyone, please put your hands together for Stella Diamant, a lead researcher of Madagascar Whale Shark Project.
Hello, Vic. Thank you so much for having me.
Stella, thank you so much for joining us today. In a few words, can you tell us what is Madagascar Whale Shark Project and why did you create this foundation?
So it's a research and conservation project focusing on whale sharks in Madagascar specifically. Right now, we're only active in one area where we know that the whale sharks come every year. I basically decided to found the project when I realized there were whale sharks in Madagascar, but nothing was being done to study them and to protect them. And so I decided to come up with a plan to involve local operators and basically study the whale sharks and come up with data that could support their protection.
And can you tell us more about the whale shark monitoring actions and education initiatives that you're undertaking?
Sure. So we kind of mainly work with photo ID. So it's a basic method that's used all across the world. And we basically take a picture of each shark we see when we swim with them. And we do that thanks to boat tourism operator that take us out when they take the tourists out. And then we just take ID pictures, so always the left side of the shark, like it's done all across the world. And then thanks to that, we know which shark it is, if we've seen it before, is it a new shark, all of this data. So thanks to that, we've now identified 408 different whale sharks in Madagascar. And about the education, we do many things, but we mainly raise awareness across the local population, especially kids, through a school program.
That's fascinating. And can you tell us what are your needs and how can we help you?
So we need more funding to carry on our activities in Madagascar. So basically we have a season every year where the whale sharks come, and that's when we have volunteers and we use the tourism boats to continue our surveys. But then the rest of the year, the whale sharks are not there, but that doesn't mean we have to stop our efforts. Actually, we have lots of outreach activities, and our core team still has to process all the data from the season and prepare the next season. So it's really critical for us to have more funding during that time so we can, keep preparing and working at the same rate. But most of the funding currently we have is just for the season, and then after that we kind of have to juggle different jobs, and we really struggle to continue working at the same pace during the year. So we would need, I guess, extra funding to help cover our needs and efforts through the year.
Fantastic. Stella, our auditors want to know, why is it so important to monitor whale shark populations in Nosy Be?
There are many reasons. So first, whale sharks are emblematic. They're very docile animals, and they're very nice sharks, so people are not afraid of them. And as a result, people will come out to swim with them. And that brings money and people to Nosy Be, which in turn drives the economy, really. So we want to make sure we protect them so that people can, continue living from the tourism and become slowly wealthier and have access to education and things like that. And at the same time, really protect the habitat of the whale sharks, which is also home to whales, to manta rays, to a lot of different other species that also critically rely on this ecosystem.
And can you explain us which impact humans have on whale shark population?
They have quite a lot of impact on whale sharks. I guess the biggest one that we don't often see is plastic pollution. So whale sharks are filter feeders, so they feed on the surface. They open their mouth wide and then just filter whatever's floating. So of course, all the little microplastic that floats, that we're seeing more and more in Madagascar, that ends up directly in the belly and often, can kill them. Another one is collision with the boats. So even if there's not many boats, the fact that a big boat won't see a whale shark feeding at the surface, that can be fatal to them, and if not, cause significant wounds that can affect their lifetime and all these things. And then on top of that, there's the whole fishing problem. So overfishing, but also a lot of illegal fishing for sharks. You heard of the issues in Galapagos recently with the Chinese boats. Whale sharks grow really slowly. They take about 30 years to reach maturity. So if they kind of make it to maturity, if pretty much for 30 years, one of these things happened to them, their life is going to be compromised, and they're already declining very fast.
And talking about declining, at the Global Convention on the Conservation of Migratory Species of Wild Animals, governments added whale sharks to Appendix I of the convention. What does it mean for whale sharks in Nosy Be?
So thanks to these conventions, and there are a few of them happening globally, certain countries sign these conventions, and then they're kind of responsible for taking action locally. So Madagascar signed that convention in particular. So technically it has, the responsibility to make sure whale sharks are not killed and they're protected. And we're actively working on that and providing data for that. For example, there's a marine protected area that is now potentially being expanded, and that would encompass some of the whale shark habitats. So we're providing data to that, so that can be done in the best way possible. But it's very difficult, obviously, because there is still so little data on whale sharks and other shark and ray species in Madagascar, because there is very little science being done. So still a lot of work and taking a long time to get these things implemented.
Thank you very much, Stella. We will finish with a 2-second message you would like to give to our audience today.
I really think everyone can get involved in marine conservation. You can volunteer, you can provide your time, you can donate money, you can cut on plastic, you can eat sustainable, fish. There are so many ways for people to take a stand now. So I really push everyone to make some decisions and get involved.
And there we go. That was Ocean Innovator release number 7, celebrating 10 years to achieve the 2030 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Don't forget to press the bell button to subscribe, and we will see you next time.